The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Play Some Video Games, the flagship show of the PSVG podcast network. With me this week, as promised, or threatened, depending on how you want to look at it, is the new official co-host of PSVG, Mr. Lucas Rose. Sir, how are we doing tonight?
Oh, it feels great to be here. I appreciate you buying me a brand new chair to sit in the studio. I sat down and I didn't have to smell all the farts of the people who came before me. Just that fresh, beautiful leather smell.
I mean, there's like 12 of us, so yeah. I mean, we probably shouldn't say it on the air, considering I funneled the money out of the Patreon account, which Johnny technically controls. So,
ooh,
we can.
Well, you can take it out of my paycheck if you really.
Wait, we're paying you?
Them. Well, Donnie said.
I'm not even getting. Anyway, thank you to those Patreon supporters who do support us over at patreon.com/PSVG. Coach Hulk, Edwin Callow, Devin Tyus, myself, Chris M, Kyle Heyman, The Bonesaw, Josh Barboni, Barry Cathcart, and Paul Calicote. Thank you so much for your kind donations, bribes.
I don't know what you want for the chair.
Thanks for the chair. Yep, absolutely. So. Stay tuned for PSVG DLC Volume 2 coming out within the next week and a half or so. Had a little monkey wrench on my plan to do the last episode, so kind of to recalibrate everything and set up the next one. So stay tuned for that if you're a Patreon supporter. And if you're not, well, why the heck not? $1. $1 gets you so much more than if you went to McDonald's and got a large soda. Or a coffee with cream and 2 Splendas. Xbox Drive. Bah. Anyway, Lucas isn't ready for all this stuff yet, guys. Sorry. So every week we'd like to start things off with. So I should say it's just Lucas and I. I wanted to bring him in, nice and calm. It's like when you get a pet from the shelter, and you have to put all the other pets in separate rooms so they get the scent. Lucas is getting the scent of everyone else, not the farts from the chair, because we've already covered that he does not have a farty chair.
That's true.
Yes,
that's true. I farted on some blankets, and then you can give them out to the PSVG crew if they, if they could sleep with it, or just to get familiar with the smell. I was going to say this was more like a first date, but you went with the animal thing.
I mean,
so
you're not wearing pants. I don't know what kind of girl you think I am, but on the first date, I mean, geez, we're already going into dark territory. But
I apologize.
No, get used to it. Right, this is the new PSVG Prime show. Get ready for it.
Yes, I apologize for nothing.
So excellent. Typically there will be a third with us, but we want to kind of ease into it and kind of see how the flow of the show is going to go. But we're going to stay with the core of what the show does and what we normally cover. So as we do each and every week, let's talk a little bit about what we have been playing. And Lucas, I'll throw it to you first, sir.
Sure. For anybody who isn't familiar with me too much or doesn't listen to my other podcast, you may not know that I'm kind of behind the ball when it comes to Nintendo specifically. I was lucky enough to receive a Switch from some community members, which was awesome. Middle of the year last year. And so, as we all know, that Nintendo tax, it weighs heavy on the wallet. So I'm used to those Steam sales, $5 games. Humble bundles all over the place. So I see, the price of first party Nintendo games, and I'm just like, yeah, I guess I'll what I've found out, what works best for me is to rent them from the library for free. So, totally. And then if I like them, I will purchase them later when they go on sale, because I actually am one of the last people to have a Best Buy Gamers Club unlocked, whatever the ridiculous name is. Yep. So got to put that to use before it expires. But anyways, I have gotten behind Hyrule Warriors for one.
Nice.
I haven't played too much of it. I've only played this up to the second stage, as it were, because they're hour-long affairs. It seems.
Yeah, they are.
You sit down and you're like, did I really just press the same button for a whole hour? Apparently, I did. So,
and it's so satisfying.
Yes, it is. I wasn't really familiar with the Warriors, or maybe. Let's see. Is the Warriors the spinoff from Dynasty?
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors.
It's in the same model as those games are, just with the Zelda skin on it.
What's the spinoff of the Dynasty Warriors then? Because there's something else. Not spinoff in the sense that it's Zelda now or whatever, but there's like Orakai Warriors or I don't know. It's something, but it's not Warriors. That's what's throwing me off.
Now, I'm looking it up. Familiar.
I could be completely wrong, but I swear
there's some kind of Orochi?
Orakai?
Yeah. Dynasty Warriors. Everything seems to have warriors attached. One Piece Pirate Warriors, Dynasty Warriors Gundam, Fire Emblem Warriors, Warriors All-Stars. So, I don't know.
Dynasty Warriors, maybe? Samurai? No. I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently. But I could have swore there was some kind of spin-off thing that was connected, but slightly different. But anyways, yeah, this is a Warriors game. Which I kind of knew. Warriors Orakai, I think is, maybe what I was thinking of. I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. Which is why this is the first game that I've ever really played. I knew what Warriors was. I was familiar with the brand, so to speak, but never really played one before. And so I figured, why not? Zelda, that's I always feel weird about jumping into a game series that is all the way up into like Dynasty Warriors 8. Or 9. Yeah. It always feels weird to go in there. So I was like, all right, let's try this Hyrule Warriors business. And it does seem really cool. I like the cutscenes and everything that kind of bookend the action set pieces, the maps and everything. So there's sort of a loose story going on. Of course, you have all these different playable characters and stuff. The only thing is, it's satisfying, sort of like a beat 'em up, but it kind of can get old like a beat 'em up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I find it is one of those games where I want to only play about an hour, and then I'm like, all right, let's move on to something else. I've completed one map, but I know that it's going to take me another, that much amount of time to play another one. So why even start it? Because if I already thinking about giving up on it right now, so I don't know how long it'll last. I don't think
you do obviously, as you mentioned, you get all the different characters, so that's one thing to keep it a little bit different, and they all play differently. So every character has their own nuance. That's true. And then you even unlock different weapons for each character. So like you'll have Link with the sword, but then he gets the fire wand later, and then he gets something else later. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but they all get different weapons that drastically change their fighting style, which makes it a little bit fresher as you go along. There's always stuff to unlock, really.
I did get to visit the bazaar, as they call it, and buy some stuff, and so I do appreciate that. I'm running around collecting all this material. I'm like all these little bags on the battleground. I got to get those. So it definitely has that unlocking completionist charm to it, where you do feel compelled to pick everything up and get all the money and sit there and just kill as many people as you possibly can on the battlefield to get maximum earnings. It's not too bad. The thing is, though, as I do kind of feel like having rented it, I would rather just own it so that I can play it on my own time instead of being like, I need to beat this right now. Completely opposite of this, I suppose, is the next game, and that's Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. So, obviously a puzzle game. This came out on the Wii U originally, right?
Yes. Yep.
So, obviously very late to the party, even with the re-release. And I didn't really know how much I would enjoy it, because sometimes I really get into puzzle games, and then other times they just frustrate me to the point where I just don't want to sit down and play it. And so, with it being a Nintendo title, I kind of figured it would be a safe bet to try this one out. And so far, I am enjoying it. How familiar are you with the game as far as, have you played it?
I 100%ed it on Wii U.
Oh my goodness gracious. Did they have the Pixel Hunt, the Toadstool Pixel Hunt?
No, that was new.
Is that worth it?
Which version? No.
I don't even know is it just to get another stamp on there?
Yep, that's all it is.
That's what I'm like. I can't imagine I would unlock anything that would possibly change
No.
the game itself. So
I will say though, once you think you've beaten the game, you haven't.
oh no.
So there's a lot of meat on the bone for Captain Toad, and we'll get to it later, but there was an announcement today that I think has officially made me decide to repurchase this one again. So this will be yet another Wii U game that I'm buying again on Switch. So
yeah, that news was pretty cool. But I'm not too far into it. I also kind of rented it to see how my son, who is just now getting into gaming, how he would do with it, because he's playing Super Mario Odyssey, which is, I mean, going into that really fast-paced 3D environment, having never played with a controller or anything, seems pretty difficult to me. I would think. So I thought maybe slowing it down would help, but he didn't seem incredibly interested in it. So now I'm going to probably try and beat it before I end up taking it back. So I'll probably focus more on this. But again, it's another one of those games that only sucks me in for a little bit of time before I want to move on to something else. I think I'm a really story driven person. So to just play levels, it almost feels like a mobile game to a certain degree, where you're just like 3-starring all the levels or whatever. So yeah, it is definitely interesting and I enjoy it. It's one of those the games where you start playing it to kind of change gears real quick and play something less fast paced or whatever. So for that, I appreciate it. And then finally, my last game I see we'll probably end up talking about. So I know you talked about this a little bit last week or on the last show.
Yeah.
I only just started Resident Evil 2 and I'm playing it on PC. And I have plenty of woes to speak on, mostly because not about the game.
Okay.
About the options within the game, because PC gaming, you spend equal amount of time in the graphics setting menu as you do playing the game. So I see HDR is an option, and I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, okay, well, I do have HDR on my television because I have it wired to the TV so that I don't have to sit, for all those complainers and haters who are like, well, I don't want to sit in an office chair. I do that all day. There are games I play in front of the television. And so I saw this HDR and I turned it on, and then that made me go down this whole rabbit hole about whether or not HDR is actually capable with my graphics card, which is from like last generation. And then I find out it isn't, but I've already spent so much time actually trying to figure out why it looks like garbage on my screen that I didn't have much of a chance to play. And then of course I'm going through graphics settings, trying to just pump out the most performance to graphics setting ratio as possible. And it kind of made me miss just popping in the disc and hitting play and not really thinking about the graphics options at all. But those are that's the things that we bring upon ourselves when you're a PC gamer. Unfortunately, it's like something that you can't help but do. It seems like look in those graphics options. So after I fiddled around with it, I actually started playing it. Who did you pick?
Leon.
To start with?
Leon.
Okay, I did. What's her name?
Claire.
The girl. Yeah, girl. I did girl.
It's a girl.
I wanted to say Jill because I was playing the Resident Evil remake, but it is not Jill.
No.
She's not the master of unlocking, is Claire. So I don't have too much familiarity with this game either. I rented it way back in the day for the PlayStation. Never beat it though. Obviously familiar with kind of what happens and what goes on.
Sure. Yeah.
But I made it to the police station, and I will say, obviously, it is much more action oriented, which is I kind of like. I think they really did a good job remaking this, because any good remake, in my opinion, makes you nostalgic to the point where you remember it a certain way, and then the new game actually plays that way. Because I think if you go back, unless you're always going back and playing old games, but if you try to I think I'll replay Resident Evil 2, the original, before I play this one, I think you'll just be like, this is a cumbersome mess. So the movement feels great, mostly fluid for the most part. I haven't done too much. The gunplay is a little tough. I don't know if that's because I'm trying to play a third-person shooter with a controller and it's been a while, or if it is just kind of, there's a lot of weight to movement and to aiming and everything. You actually feel grounded. It's not floaty and action, like arcadey.
It's not like a Halo or in Apex Legends or anything like that. Now it's very much,
right. But it looks great. It's probably one of the best games I've played so far. So, really looking forward to sinking my teeth into it a little bit more. Also, it is a very dark game, and I was trying to play it in the middle of the day, and I'm just like, I cannot not see what's going on right now. So, and I had a flashlight, so that's pretty sad. But
So you're in the police station. You're in the flashlight area.
Yeah, that's the first place I went to because that box is glowing. So of course I'm going to go over there and see what it is.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, exactly. And I opened up the shutter and immediately went, well, this is a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why did I go here
right in? Yeah, it throws you right into it. But yeah, great point though. You're right. This game feels like how you remembered it, which is probably the biggest nod you can do because, as you said, you go back to those old games. You're like, man, this is nothing like I thought it was. But this makes me feel like this is what it was like, and it is very good. It'll slow down a little bit for you though. I feel it's not overall. It's not as action oriented as the intro kind of gives you.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's definitely stuff that happens throughout the game, but it seems to be more makes you feel tense. As you like, I don't have, I got 3 bullets left. Where's the next bullet stash, or where am I getting this next gun?
Yeah,
you run into that a lot. I
was gonna say, I'm already wondering when the bullet, like, how many zombies am I supposed to run away from before it's just me bad? Like, I'm not good at the game versus they just haven't given you any ammo. And then of course I'm like, did I just walk past some of it because it doesn't glow? Not really, not that I've noticed anyway.
It's a little bit. It glistens a little bit, yeah. But yeah, the light is tough. I think I've played it all in the dark, no lights on, TV in the basement, so no windows. Like, yeah, it's good. It's good. Was that it?
Yeah, that's everything.
Okay, cool.
Please take it away.
So yeah, Resident Evil 2, I'm still playing that. I am towards the end of the Leon campaign, so I will jump probably back in and do the Claire one if I have time. There is a ton of stuff that is coming out over the next week and a half for me. Between Far Cry New Dawn and Anthem and all that kind of stuff. So I want to get as much of this done before those drop because I know my attention will be diverted.
They have that DLC coming out as well. I saw at least pretty soon for Resident Evil 2. Ghost Survivors or something like that. Not sure what it was, but
I actually don't know.
It was announced. Yeah, it was. Okay. I saw it today. I didn't click on it because I didn't want to spoil anything. But I think it's called Ghost Survivors.
I'll have to look into it. I did not know that. We'll have to see what Donnie does because Donnie bought the game and we do game share via Xbox. So he's the owner. So if I buy the DLC, I don't think it works. I think he would have to buy the DLC. So we'll have to look and reevaluate that because we kind of alternate purchases. So, which is a nice thing. It's a good thing. Besides that, we talked about Apex on Fluxtapose, so I won't really dive into that, but still digging Kingdom Hearts 3. Completed the Kingdom of Corona, not the beer. It's where Rapunzel lives. Completed that section, which was fun. There's really good voice acting in that section of the game, which is a lot of fun.
I heard you guys talking about this, and it's funny to me to break down the voice acting by section character, obviously, but it's just like, does it really is it disjointing feeling when you run into this type of thing, or have you come to kind of expect this? Because
I've come to expect it over the years, just because I've played them all.
I was gonna say, I know Sora is not Sora, right? Is the main character?
Sora's not a Disney character, so he's the one that's out of place per se. I mean, you have Donald and Goofy, so yeah, it's weird seeing Donald and Goofy show up in like Tangled, but it still fits the Disney vibe. And what they do is that each land is actually a different planet. So you travel in your ship and you land on the planet, and because of the magic, because that's how everything's explained at Disney, it's magic.
At Disney Magic,
your characters inhabit qualities that match that world. So, for instance, when I was in Toy Story, I looked like a blocky action figure, and I was made of plastic. I know when I go to Monsters Inc., which is the next level I'm heading to, you turn into a monster. You have like the fur. You look like a Pixar thing, which resembles still Donald and Goofy and Sora, but it's clearly not them. And that's so the other characters don't know you're not from there. It's to keep the continuity of the worlds as you travel through them on your quest, essentially. So yeah, it's pretty weird. And yeah, so I'm still having fun with that. But yeah, the voice acting is fun, and it is a little weird seeing things through the eyes of different characters and the twist they take on the classic stories. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I am a little disappointed that Monsters Inc. is next, only because there is none of the same voice actors from Monsters Inc. in it.
Oh, that's a really big, that would be an obvious one, and hard to get sound-alikes. I feel like for
I think
one.
so, especially with John Goodman. I feel like there's a lot of people that think they could do John Goodman, but it doesn't sound like John Goodman. So it's like
he has a very specific voice, and whenever I hear it, I'm always like, "Is that John Goodman?" You know, it's only happened a few times, but when it does, you're always like, "I think that's John Goodman," because he does. He has a very obvious sounding, like you can pick it out pretty easily.
Yeah,
so
it's like to throw back to the old days, the old Garfield show or the Garfield like Christmas special. Like, there's that guy who sounds like Garfield, but then other people try and do it and they sound kind of like him, but you're like, that's not the same Garfield. Like, it's.
I don't think I've ever seen that, so I can't.
Oh man,
doesn't apply to me. I'm sorry.
So age, darn. But yeah, still having tons of fun with that. And I mean, I'm a Disney geek, so it's fun just seeing these characters, and it's a game that I can play, and my youngest can walk in the room and be like, "Oh, Rapunzel!" Like, and I know there's a
That's
Frozen
gotta be
world,
cool.
so yeah, seeing my kid get excited about it too, wondering what's going on. It's like, why is Donald there with Anna and Elsa and Olaf? Like, it's those different things that make it a little fun. So, still enjoying that. And then the last thing of note, just because I love it and Donnie hates it, and I like to talk about it, Katamari Damacy. Still playing on the Switch. That's like my unwinding game. So much like you said, it's easy to hop into Captain Toad and do a couple levels and just be done.
Mm-hmm.
Katamari's that for me. I can go and play a stage, takes like 10 minutes, put it down. And I mean, best soundtrack in the game ever. I stand by that.
That's true. That's true.
100%. So yeah, that's it for me. Like I said, I'll have hopefully some different games to talk about next week as we get some more new releases coming down the pipeline. But looking forward to hearing more on your Hyrule Warriors and Resident Evil experiences as we go down the pipeline here.
Sure.
So yeah, that wraps up for what you're playing. Normally we would do the messages, but because we had so much news, I took all of your kind messages you sent in, your questions, everybody, and I literally just crumpled them up and threw them in the trash and said, I'm not doing this.
Wow.
Yeah. And I can, because I run this show, and you people have no say.
It's true. Because if you do say something, I will crumple it up and I will throw it away.
I will throw it away. So then you have no say. I'm just kidding. We just have a lot of stuff to cover, so we'll save those messages for next week, and we will get to them when we have probably what's expected to be a later news week. So we are recording a little early, so there might be some breaking news that happens later in the week that we'll not cover. So sorry for that. But we're recording on the day that Nintendo did their direct. And as we know, the entire internet comes to a screeching halt when Nintendo says they're going to do an announcement, and that's all people want to talk about.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about it. Now you might say, Kevin, don't you guys have an entire show dedicated to Nintendo already? Yes, we do. But that show is probably filled with high-pitched screaming, yelps, and, oh, that's so cute. And then Caro's there too.
Yeah.
So, Lucas and I are going to put our spin on it and our take on it, because gosh darn it, we should be able to talk about Nintendo as well.
Yeah. We're not invited to that show.
Fair.
I still hold a grudge because I wanted to be on for a Smash show, but I don't even play that game, as we talked about. So it doesn't matter. I guess it's probably a good thing. But we're pretty two level-headed guys when it comes to Nintendo. I think we can give a pretty fair shake at this.
Yeah, so we'll have a dose of reality and put the fanboyism aside, even though we both play and we both enjoy Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not really that familiar with Directs, honestly. I never watched them because I never really owned a system. So I will say it's kind of nice just from a presentation standpoint. It's kind of nice the way that they give you this information, the way it's the presentation itself. But then the host will ask you, like, so what did you think of that? You know, it's like, it's very Japanese. It's like, I hope you all enjoyed our presentation. And it just feels completely different than, you know, what I'm used to from E3 and stuff like that, where we're like, games, look at all these games, world exclusive, you know.
Launch premiere, world premiere. We have a car on stage.
Exactly.
No,
and now rappers are going to sing for some reason.
Rappers are going to sing. They're not going to rap. They're going to sing.
No, they're going to sing. That's what they do.
Auto-tune. But no, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because you're right. And we talked about this, ironically enough, last week's episode as well, was the Inside Xbox. And that's basically that's their version of Nintendo Directs. And theirs went on for 80 minutes. and it had less than half the amount of announcements that this Nintendo Direct did in 35 minutes. Like, this was very brief, very to the point. You get your news, you get hype. You don't have a lot of time to breathe in between them. Like, it's just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, just super polished. She said very Japanese, right? Because they always have somebody in there that has the translator, which is just odd anyway, because like, it doesn't matter if he's the one talking or not, like, whatever. But regardless, we got some stuff to talk about. So, first one, something that's been rumored for a little bit now, and Donnie had been very excited when this happened, and Super Mario Maker 2 is coming to Switch with the addition of slopes, which I didn't know. The old Mario Maker didn't have slopes because we've had slopes in Super Mario World, which I don't know. We're getting Super Mario Maker 2. They said there's gonna be many, many new elements, none of which they actually showed, other than Cat Mario from 3D Land was there, which that's the game Donnie and Caro love more than Odyssey. They both feel it's the best 3D Mario there is. So this is as close as they're going to get to it for now, it seems, through Super Mario Maker 2. Now,
did you play the original?
No, I had zero interest in the original, only because I would watch the crazy stages people would create and then have people try and run through them. I have zero desire to A, create those stages, or to play those stages. So I'm all set.
That's true. Does this come with any type of actual game? Like, are there stages made by developer?
There are pre-made stages that are in there, and they travel throughout the different genres. So the one cool thing is you have stages like from the original Mario to the Mario 2, Mario 3. Like, they have all the different styles of them there, as long as they're 2D ones. So it's a lot of fun to see that. But for me, it's just like at this point, I'd rather play Super Mario Brothers U, like the one that just came out with Luigi, and those stages are all made. They all look new. I don't need to go back and play Super Mario Brothers. I can do that on my Nintendo Switch Online service that I don't play already. Mario 1, 2, and 3 are all on there now, so I could just play those if I wanted to. So
that's true.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, but for me, it doesn't seem to interest me. But I do think the one weird thing is, I'm gonna look this up, but I'm pretty sure the first game was just called Mario Maker. So to call this Super Mario Maker 2, what happened to Super Mario Maker 1?
Whoa. Maybe it's one of those universe things where, like, Berenstein Bears and Bernstein Bears, you know what I'm talking about?
Ooh.
The Mandela effect.
Yes.
So maybe in another dimension, that's true. A Super Mario 1.
And actually, I'm wrong. It was called Super Mario Maker on the Wii U, so I take it back.
You have failed us.
Yeah, like I said, Nintendo Shack will be way more accurate with things, but Lucas and I are far funnier, so it's okay.
I was going to say, it's not funny to be accurate at all. So,
So does this one interest you at all, though? Does this
kind of, only in the sense that to me it looks like a bit of a toy box to play around in, but nothing serious. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to get this. Like you said, I don't have the time to mess around and learn how the tools work. I'm sure it's super easy, but I have no ambition to do that anyways. And I would rather play a mainstream or a mainline Mario game anyways. So this kind of, to me, is a niche product to a certain degree.
I agree. And I think it just fits Nintendo model. And Donnie says this numerous times, that Nintendo wants you to buy a Mario game and a Zelda game every year, regardless of what they are.
Yeah. That's
and
true.
This is their way of doing that, and is a great segue to our next game, which Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is getting a remake for Switch, which is insane because this was a black and white, well, not really black and white, a green and gray from the original Game Boy game. Don't get me wrong, a fantastic game. One of my favorite Zelda games, actually. But this is done complete from the ground up all over again, a la Resident Evil 2 remake style. It's a new art style, but it looks really stupid cool. I don't know why. Like, I'm very excited for this one. This one is going to be a purchase for me, I think, hands down. Just very cool concept, and looks like Nintendo once again does something that, like, hey, you didn't know you wanted this, but now you want this.
Yeah, I agree. When I saw this, because it came toward the end of the direct, and I was like, I have heard about this game. I have heard plenty of people say it's one of the best Zelda games that is probably the least played, or at least it was back when I first heard about it. I've never played it before. I didn't have a Game Boy. Well, I did, but not for very long. And Yeah, I don't know why, but I just got kind of a good feeling about this. I was just like, oh, that's cool that they're good. And it reminds me of that Oceanhorn game, the way that the graphics are. And it has that effect where it feels like they're miniatures, little plastic miniatures walking around and stuff. Looks super cool. And now that I'm a dad with a son who is cognizant about what's happening around him, this is an action game that I can actually play that has swords and shields and archery and stuff that I don't have to worry about, blood and guts pouring all over the television. I don't have to be as concerned. So
no, that's a good point. And this might be actually one that you can start trying to get him to play too. Cause other than the boss battles, this is just your typical top down Zelda. So up, down, left, right. You have your couple buttons for your weapons and that's it. I mean, you can remember this is a Game Boy game. It doesn't utilize all the different buttons that we have nowadays in most modern controllers. So
that's very true. And I mean, I'm still helping him with stuff on Odyssey, so it's not like he'll make some progress and then he'll be like, "Dad, can you do it?" And so I'm like,
you slap the controller out of his hand. Yeah, I'm disappointed. You let a man show you how it's done.
Yes, I was gonna go with the take my pipe out of my mouth and say, "Why, sure, son, I would love to help you," but instead I just verbally abuse him. You're right.
Still smoking a pipe though, so it's okay.
So, that's true. I gotta ask you though, what is the deal with the Mario elements in the game?
That's just what they used at the time. So if I recall, this actually wasn't developed by the same team that had worked on Zelda games prior. This kind of opened up the gateway to Capcom later on did Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons that were also handheld titles. I think they were Game Boy Color titles. And they just had a different vibe. But yeah, they reused Goombas. There's Chain Chomps. There's a couple other things in there. And there's actually straight up 2D side scrolling portions of the game.
Saw that.
Yeah, which is really cool. So yeah, I don't know why they did it, but they just did. But yeah, that was in the original as well. So it's not new added for this version only. That's what they had.
Okay. That was my question. Cool. Yeah, I'm hyped for this one.
So the next one, Fire Emblem Three Houses, is slightly delayed, which I didn't even remember that they said it was coming out in the spring. I thought they just said 2019. But it's now pushed to July 26th, which still isn't bad considering kind of the heavy load we have basically from Nintendo from now until then. Anyway, I don't think it's a concern. I think they spent the most time on this game here throughout the Direct. They detailed a lot of the game's lore, the backstory of the three different houses, which a lot of people said they got the Hogwarts Harry Potter vibe from.
Yeah.
It was like, here's Gryffindor and Ravenclaw. And,
it doesn't help that it's like, here's blue, red, and yellow or whatever it was. So that definitely got that vibe.
Yeah. So this kind of confuses me. So I would consider myself a Fire Emblem fan. I've played most of the traditional games. I didn't like the Warriors game they did, but the traditional games I enjoy. When they first showed this game, it looked like it was going to be more of a hybrid of Warriors and traditional Fire Emblem, where it's turn-based combat. You move around the map, certain amount of squares, and you battle. But when they showed it today, it looked like it was more just traditional Fire Emblem. Like, I didn't see those open world environments that we saw, other than you running around the school going to potions class and stuff. Which not really potions class, but you know what I mean? Like, it's very weird. And if you're kids, why are you fighting in these grand wars? Like, in Fire Emblem, if your character dies, they die. They don't come back. Now you're putting that on children. Like, so it's
I didn't know
dark.
that.
Yeah.
Well, didn't it say you play as like a teacher or a professor too? Like you choose what school you want to be a professor of, I believe. And then you lead these kids into battle. Apparently.
This is worse than Harry Potter and the Hogwarts stuff. Like, yeah, they all fought at the end too against Voldemort, but geez, like, this is just...
The teachers weren't like, yes, go fight, you know?
Yeah. So, Is any interest for you? I mean, you've never played a Fire Emblem game, so this is kind of a tough sell. I think.
Well, first of all, I had this confused with Dragon Warrior, unfortunately, which does not help. No. Fire Emblem, Dragon Warrior, I mean, I guess. But I could see getting into this. I do like what appears to be like different systems. I suppose you have these different things going on. It's not just battling. It's not just walking around an overworld. You have these weird houses and you choose one. And so who knows? There might be Quidditch in this. or some equivalent sport. I don't know, but it does seem like one of those world of possibility type things where there could be a lot of different things to do. I kind of feel like when I played Chronicles, Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
I had no stake in that either. I had no history with it whatsoever. And it surprised me to a certain degree, enough to play it all the way through. And I feel like this could be a similar situation where I may not have a lot of hype for it right now, but I might just get curious, try it, and then be like, oh, I really like this. That's cool. How do I play the rest of them? Oh, I can't. Never mind.
You can buy a 3DS now.
Oh boy.
but the good thing is though, with these games, typically they'll put out Fire Emblem, but there'll be like 3 DLC packs that'll come out later that give you more of the game, more of the story. So I think they'll probably do the same thing with that. Now they're not going to advertise that now. They want to be like a surprise later on, even though they literally always do it now.
Yeah.
There's like, hey, there's DLC, and you're like, wow, thanks.
What a surprise.
That'll extend the game a little bit for you, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. Another announcement that kind of came out of the blue. We hadn't seen anything from this game, but from Platinum Games, Astral Chain is coming out August 30th. This is the game that had like the 2 twin girl future cop things. And you fight giant monsters. It's almost like cops meet Judge Dredd meets Monster Hunter. I think it's probably the best way of putting it. This looked interesting. I will say, like, for something I typically wouldn't be attracted to, I was like, this might seem kind of cool. So nothing really, I think, blew me out of the water for it, but just for something Nintendo related, it's different and unique, I think. So
I got more of a Xenoblade meets Warframe vibe out of it because when I saw the robot, I was like, is this Warframe? What's going on right now? And then I saw it was anime basically, and I was like, oh, okay, it's not Warframe. What is going on here? So Platinum Games made Bayonetta, right?
Did they make Bayonetta? I know they made the Transformers games and that Bad Ninja Turtle game.
I liked the Transformers one. I did not play the.
There were some good ones and some bad ones from the Transformers one, so it depends on which one.
the cartoon Wuddy, the one that
I didn't like that one that much. I like the War
Bayonetta.
for Cybertron and stuff like that. So they did make Bayonetta. Okay,
you didn't like. Okay, you didn't like Transformers Devastation, the one that was cartoony. From
I thought it was okay. It was really just kind of repetitive and weak. I think overall.
That is
the
true.
other one had a good story, and they played more like Halo than they did Transformers, but. The Devastation played more like what Transformers should, but there just wasn't much there. It was very barren to me.
That is true. It was tough to finish just because
there's a lot of just run through the cities that all look the same and go through the sewers and come up in another city. Like,
yep. But the combat was so cool.
It was cool.
But anyways, they did do Bayonetta. So I imagine just looking at this one screenshot and the way that the characters are positioned, it screams to me that same combat mechanic where you're just pressing all of the buttons and you're like, I don't know what's going on, but I look cool while I'm doing it.
And there'll be unlockable outfits. There'll be unlockable outfits.
I hope so. I need all of the outfits.
All of the outfits. Next up, Box Boy series. So this is a little known game from PAL Laboratories, who are known for making Kirby and the original Smash Bros. Stuff like that. They worked on those things. Box Boy was on the 3DS before. They did 3 games, I think, but they were known for being like super cheap. Like I think they were $5 a game. Wow. And it was like all these different puzzle things. So this is kind of cool that it's coming to the Switch, but everyone kind of predicted, this was rumored before the Direct dropped, that it was going to be the collection. It was going to be the other 3 games released on Switch to get more people to play the game because it didn't sell a ton. But instead we're getting a sequel. It's Box Boy and Box Girl. It comes out April 26th. 270 stages, which is insane. You can play them all 2-player co-op, and if you beat the game, or no, there'll be certain stages you can play as Cutie, who is a like rectangle instead of a regular box.
Sorry, that just sounds like a ridiculous feature.
yeah,
it's
kind of
2 times the size, but I mean, it did look cool.
It's a puzzle platformer. Yeah, for those who don't know.
Yeah, you kind of extend yourself. You make copies. It's almost like a Tetris piece came to life and then had to solve puzzles to get out of the game board or something. Now that I know that it was only $5, is it still planning to be in that price range?
They didn't say, so I'm guessing no, because everything on the Switch costs more money.
I was gonna say max $10.
I mean, who knows? They might surprise us because literally all the others were $5. I didn't play them, so I don't know how long they were. So I think the length, the 270 stages, sounds like a lot of money. So I mean, it might be like $20.
20. Yeah, I was gonna say 20. I can hold out hope that one day it'll be cheap enough for me to buy and try out. But yeah, I mean, it's not like it's graphically intensive or anything. Yeah. So all of the time spent was making puzzles, I would hope. That is a lot of stages. 270. My goodness.
And you and Jason will have to play them all co-op. You could be Box Boy.
If we can make it through, I was going to say, if we can make it through Overcooked, I think our friendship will endure the boxing.
Yeah.
Now, would you say, is this an unbox experience or a boxing experience? Because
it's an unboxing within your Switch box.
Oh, does it come with Labo? Because that's cardboard.
No, but you think they would. That'd be a great tie-in. Here's this box.
Thematically, it is a sound idea.
It takes you 3 hours to build that box.
Because that's Box Boy control.
Yeah. Box Boy control. You actually have to move the box and stack them in order to play the game. Like connect Labo.
Oh, you want another Box Boy? Well, then you have to make it. That's how you extend yourself now.
And look, put this bread on it. It's Box Girl.
It does kind of look like bread. Squished in the middle, though. Yeah. Or dog bone.
Dog bone, yeah. All right, moving on, because we talk way too much about Box Boy.
Yeah.
Biggest non-surprise, hey, Dragon Quest XI is coming to Switch. If you've been following Dragon Quest and Nintendo at all, this has been rumored for like over a year, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I thought this already came out.
It's confusing because this was like the first official announcement of it, and then they're like, and it's coming out in the fall.
But it's already out on like Steam and PlayStation and Xbox, right? Okay, maybe that's why I feel it. Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be $10 by the time this drops, but it's on Switch.
It's on Switch. But there are some differences, so we'll give it some credit here. It's called Dragon Quest XI S because that's what we do. We add random letters to the end of things to make them be better. Includes both the English and Japanese audio, which I know some people prefer to have the actual Japanese voice acting with the English subtitles in certain games. I don't care for that personally because sometimes the Japanese voice acting is super goofy. Like something happens like, you know.
Yeah, that is true. They have tropes within their anime-esque deliveries, it seems.
Yeah, but they do have new storylines for each of the main characters, it seems. And the coolest thing I will say, you can switch the graphic mode from the graphics it is now to 16-bit, which is insane. And it was from the 3DS version that never left Japan. So like they obviously had the game made already, but it's just funny how you could just kind of flip back and forth. Like I want to play it like the old Dragon Quest games on my NES.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's still, they even showed a little bit about how the battle sequences would work with that and everything. And it does seem still playable. Yeah. If you really were wanting to go back to that time frame, I believe I would be interested to see what the total time played in that style versus the regular style would be.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wonder how many people would just be like, I played like that for 20 minutes. That was funny. Now I'm just going to switch back to normal because, new game is new and I don't need to see these old school graphics anymore.
You get cycles like Gallo who will beat it regularly and then play immediately after again in 16-bit mode the whole way.
Oh, goodness. There will be somebody who does it, I'm sure. Also, this game is going for the longest title ever with the cardinal sin of having 2 colons within their game title. Too much.
Never want 2 colons. It's terrible.
That's true. If it's a definitive edition, there better not be anything else released for this thing, because if there is, then that is a lie.
That is true. Well, they did say there's more details to be announced later, but as far as I know, and as they're saying as of right now, all this extra stuff is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. So
they should have called it Echoes of an Exclusive Age then instead of an elusive age.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Quality humor.
So in typical Nintendo fashion, they did also have some, hey, here's announcements, and it's available now.
Yes.
Things, which they had a couple. So first, there was Tetris 99, which is Tetris Battle Royale, to break it down the simplest form. You're playing against 99 other players, which one remains. It's for free as long as you have the Nintendo Switch Online software, because you do need it to play. I did download it and try it out. Only one match. And it's kind of cool. I get what they're trying to do. I'm just wondering what happens if you can't get 99 other people playing. Because I don't know if this is going to forever have like that Fortnite audience where you could drop in and there's 10 million people playing Fortnite right now. Like,
what if there aren't 99 people and it just looks like it? How would you know it's not just AI? You could have just been playing with 98 AI players, and you'd never know.
Are you saying we have 99 players, but a bot ain't one, or a bot is one?
A bot is all of them.
All of them.
One bot to rule them all. all 98 of them.
So how it works, it's your regular Tetris game, but what happens is as you make lines, you then sabotage the other players. And you can do that in various ways. You can set it for random mode where it'll just randomly make somebody's day terrible and just by picking that player. Or you can have it select a specific player you want to, because as you're looking at the map, so you have your traditional Tetris grid, and on the sides of it are the 50 blocks almost 50 blocks on either side of you. And you can actually see miniature versions of everyone else's screen. So you know
I thought that was cool.
They are, how blocked off they are, and everything like that. And you can attack. You can go after the easy people. You can go after somebody who's having no problem. And then you can do it on like ranking. Whoever's the most experienced in the game, I'll attack them first all the time. Like, so there's different ways you can attack people. And just as the amount of players drop, the game just speeds up. So that's kind of where it sucks. So even if you are really, really low, as you get towards the end, it just starts dropping so fast, you may not really be able to do anything other than like just try and prolong how long you can hang on, but you're not going to be attacking anybody at that point. But it's a cool little concept, and for free, you can't go wrong there at all. So I would give it a go there, Lucas. It's fun.
I want to. I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't played Tetris in forever, and it's free. And then my mind blew.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with that. Now, we alluded to this earlier. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for Switch got a free update today. I think the game's been out for like a year now, and the DLC dropped it.
They said Lucas picked it up, and we'll get some DLC out for that guy.
Yeah. So they add 2-player co-op to each of the game's courses, which is kind of cool. So it took it from a pure single-player experience to now 2 players can play the game together. And there'll also be 18 new challenges and 5 new courses via paid DLC starting today. You could order that package called Special Episode. You get the first course right away, and the rest will be delivered on March 14th when the DLC fully drops. The DLC, for those wondering, if you already have the game standalone, is $5.99, I think it was. And you can do a digital bundle already that will allow you to buy the whole game and the DLC all digital from the eShop at once.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Other than that, let's see what else they do. 2 demos dropped. Daemon Ex Machina, which is the mech combat game, which showed at E3 for the first time, released prototype missions. So it's not really a demo of the game, and they literally just made a demo to show you how the mechanics of the game work. Doesn't have any of the story or any of the stuff that the game is going to have. Just kind of let you know, like, hey, this is what we're thinking for this game. I downloaded and played this as well. I do not like this game very much.
It looks cool in action. How does it control?
So it's very weird. I didn't think it was going to operate like this at all. So you're in your mech, typical style. You can run, but you run really slow if you do. You have a shield in one arm. So one trigger controls the shield to help you block attacks. The other one is your rifle, if you will.
Okay.
So you can run around the stage and you're taking down the couple of missions I did. You just kind of kill all the enemies on the screen. So you run around and you're in a city, like a Tokyo Metroscape thing, and you got to jump off the highway to get certain enemies up here. But you basically have to clear the map. So as you're doing that, you can run, but it's super slow. So you actually can fly, which this is cool. So you press the button to kind of jump and then you hover. But you fly really slow too. And you actually have to dash while flying to go faster. But your dash is limited to how much you can dash. So it's really just kind of like clunky, I think is the best thing. So for something that on the trailers look really smooth and possibly even fast paced, the game is not fast paced at all. It seems to be really slow. So yeah, not a big fan. And I think we've had some people in the Discord already play it too. And they all kind of were like, well, now I know I don't need to buy this game, at least in its current state. Ooh. So who knows? This may come back to bite Nintendo in the butt a little bit.
I wonder if they knew they had a problem on their hands, and that's why they were specifically saying, we would like to have feedback.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't know how to fix it, and they're just like, well, I don't know. Let's see what's going on here. Because it does, even the designs of the mechs would say they look like they're fast.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're not MechWarrior mechs that are huge tanks walking around.
No, they're almost more like Warframe, like a little chunk of that. But yeah, it's like that.
Yeah. I'm very surprised to hear that. I'll have to try the demo to see how bad it is. But yeah, there's nothing worse than feeling like you can only move so slowly to get to the next objective. Because these are like open maps, right? Pretty big, going from objective to objective. So yeah, That's too bad because it has a really cool visual style. It looks like an anime kind of.
Yeah, no, the art is good. I will say that because you even design what your character looks like, even though he's in the
Oh
back.
wow,
Weird, but like,
you never see him again.
Yeah, even in the demo, like you're still able to do that customization of your character, and it was pretty deep for something that was like they didn't need to do it at all, really. But yeah, try it out. We'll talk about it once you do. The other one of the games I'm anticipating a lot this year is Yoshi's Crafted World. Dropped a demo today, which includes the different costumes, which is funny. So this is basically the next iteration of Yoshi's Woolly World, where everything was kind of hand knit and everything looked like it was knitted. So you look like a beanbag almost. And as you play throughout the game, you would unlock other patterns for your knit. So you'd have like houndstooth, or you'd look like denim or whatever, and they did fabrics. And this one, they opted in for something that's a little goofier, but I think it's a little more fun. Is the your mom was too cheap to buy you a Halloween costume, so she just painted a cardboard box costume.
Yeah,
that's what Yoshi wears throughout this thing. So we saw like a Bullet Bill one and we saw Labo Piano one he was wearing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's just these strange things, but I will say, like, I love the art style in this game. Just the realism of like the cardboard textures. You saw like sponges floating in the water level. Like, it's just the art and the design behind this game is very, very cool. And my wife and I had 100% completed Yoshi's Woolly World, like every stage, every unlockable, everything. So we were both very excited to play this again and have that same experience.
Yeah, it brought a smile to my face. I haven't played Woolly World, but when the cardboard box costumes came out, I laughed a little bit. And again, it was like, oh, maybe I could play that with my son, or at least while my son was around, we could play it together. So I think it looks pretty cool, actually. 2 years ago, I may not have said that, but here we are today, and I don't know. I'm curious to see how it actually, not how it plays, but how much meat is on the bone, I guess, how much actual stuff there is to do, because I played the demo for Kirby Allies, and I kind of felt like there wasn't a whole lot of depth to that game as far as what you actually do.
Yeah.
So I kind of got worried about this game as well, as far as that goes, like the gameplay and.
Right. I want to say the Woolly World was probably a 15 to 20 hour game. So
that's pretty good.
Super long, but for a platformer, it was decent. Like I want to say there was 6 distinctive worlds, maybe 7, and each of them had 12 or so courses on each one. And then we went back to get all the unlockables too, because like once you start collecting the different Yoshis, you get kind of hooked and you're like, oh, what's this Yoshi? Like in Woolly World, you unlocked ones that looked like NES pattern and SNES pattern. They did like GameCube patterns. Like you had to get them all. Like that's how you operate in these games. So it made me keep going back to Worlds to collect that one thing I missed the first run through or something like that. So
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, that sounds pretty cool then, because that's 15 to 20 hours is that sweet spot for me. So
yeah, agreed.
Nice.
Other ones, Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah.
Dropped in the eShop today, so that's available right now, with Final Fantasy 7 coming March 26th. No word on the other Final Fantasies that are being ported to Switch. And you might ask, which Final Fantasies are being ported to Switch, Kevin?
Which Final Fantasy? Oh, I thought it was
all of them.
No, not all of them.
All of them.
Not 8.
All of them.
Not 8.
I know, not yet. They will.
But specifically, for some reason, not 8. Wasn't it because the game is like lost or something? They can't find the file.
Yeah, I believe the source code was gone. So yeah, one of those silly Japanese mistakes.
Somebody took it home with them and forgot to bring it back. Way to go!
Somebody will find it in like a modded PS2, no PS1. It would have been PS1, and like they find it in like a yard sale or flea market, and it ends up selling like $10,000 or something. Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. So those are hitting. Cool if you're into it.
9,
but I don't need to play a port again.
I've never played 9, so I was already.
I don't think I played 9 either. Yeah,
I was thinking about playing it on Steam, and so now I'm kind of like, why do that when I can do it on the go with the Switch?
Because Steam, it's probably $5.
They're every once in a while they do go on sale for cheaper, but not as cheap as you would expect. Surprisingly, I don't know why, but I've had them on my wish list and I've kept an eye on them, and I'm like, really, this is never going to drop below $6. This game is so old now.
I forgot how much. I looked at it too. I forgot how much it was going for. I want to say it was something weird. It was like $37, maybe $40 for this.
Oh, no,
so it
no.
Like, yeah, it seems too high for something that's not like remastered. Like it's just the port. Like
it's I mean, it's probably just an emulation of the PlayStation version anyways.
Right.
So
the biggest announcement
$40
is next. Disney Tsum Tsum Festival is coming from Bandai Namco. Features a bunch of different 4-player mini games that you can play locally or you can play online. So there you go. Jason can play with me. Play Disney.
That's why. Looks like a straight up port of the mobile version of the game. Because when I saw
only part of it where they turn it sideways, that is 100% the mobile game.
Okay, because
the
I was
rest
like,
of the game is
this
mini
looks
game.
terrible.
So, yeah.
Okay. Whew.
And if you wonder about Tsum Tsums,
I have wondered about them. You have them. They're stackable.
Yep.
Look at that.
Whole shelf there is all Tsum Tsums. So, yeah. I'll probably get
the
that.
thought process behind that?
I gotta collect them all.
Not you. No, just making them in general.
Well,
I'm not questioning you buying them, but...
Well, I mean, they're obviously, no brainer here. It's a very Japanese thing. But as they sold like gangbusters in Japan in the Disney parks, because they're originally only available in the parks, they sold crazy in Tokyo Disney and all that stuff. And then eventually the state started getting into it. And then they made like animated shorts on the Disney Channel. They released the mobile app, which does very well. And it's just become a phenomenon now at this point where they do like exclusive ones during the season. You can only order them from this store online. And yeah, it's crazy.
They're the new,
Beanie Babies.
They're the new Beanie Babies. Yeah. Now is Tsum Tsum a thing? Do you know? Is it outside of Disney? There are other Tsum Tsums, or is that literally just something they came up with to call these things?
That's a Disney thing. I don't think it was anything prior. Let me just look up.
Because it kind of sounds like it could be, but it could just all be marketing, and they're like, I don't know, this sounds vaguely Japanese.
Yeah, so it stands for stack in Japanese.
Okay, so at least it's not nonsense.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. It looks like all of them are Disney, though, which they do Marvel and Star Wars ones, but those are Disney properties now, so it doesn't really count, I guess.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's coming, so stay tuned for that. They just said 2019. We didn't get a date or a price point or anything like that, but if you're into that. Then I'm not going to dive into this because for me, this was the low point of the direct. There was just a bunch of Japanese RPGs that all just kind of meshed into one for me. I'm like, hey, this is a port of like Rune Factory is being remastered for Switch, but Rune Factory 5 is also coming out. It's like, well, then why just put out 5? I don't get it.
I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, Oninaki was the one made by the developers I Am Setsuna and Lost Sphere. That looks okay. With the whole Lost Souls, you travel between the world of the living and the dead, and you capture souls which give you abilities. Like it was cool, but to me, I'm like, I don't have time for these super long JRPGs to play that all kind of feel similar in nature.
Mm-hmm. But, I agree.
People like Caro. Another Ubisoft again. Starlink is getting another update to feature more Star Fox related content because
I love that.
That's the only reason people are playing Starlink, and they know it. Because you'll be able to play as Falco, Peppy, and Slippy as they take on members of Star Wolf in new battles for free starting in April. So great way as we see the sales in Starlink go down. We're like, hey, you can get it for $40, whatever. They're going to jack the price back up and be like, now you got free DLC, and people are going to buy it again.
And they have an installed base that are going to want to buy this thing. So that's actually really smart on their part. I do find it funny though that they might as well have just called it Star Fox instead of Starlink. Like, I don't know I haven't played the game, so I don't know how that could even possibly, how they fit into the world. But if you asked me what Starlink was about, I'd be like, I don't know, Star Fox is in it, and he goes in a ship and shoots things. You know what I mean? I wouldn't.
Like Star Fox game.
I don't know. If you're not Star Fox, who else are you? If you're not the R-Wing, what else are you? I don't know.
Other people, but yeah, they're not. No one's going to remember down the line, like, hey, the real hero in Starlink was so and so. It's like, no, it's Fox. Just shut up. Exactly. Sorry, I only played on PS4. Well, then you had the inferior version for once. Nintendo actually had the better version of the game.
Boom.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate getting an update 3.0, which Lucas and I probably won't play because we don't play Smash anymore. No details on what it'll include, though. So they made an announcement of an announcement that they were going to announce what was coming out later, but not tell us. But
they announced what the version number was.
Yes. And that Joker from Persona is coming in April as well.
Well, that's going to get me back in the game because my long-standing love for Persona.
Did you buy
Obviously.
DLC? Did you buy the DLC pack though for Smash?
Day one.
Did you?
I was like, no,
Oh,
of course not. Oh yeah, sure. I'm like, I'm gonna play this game so much. I bought all the DLC right away. No, I play the same 3 characters when I play this game. I don't need DLC. I haven't even put in my Piranha Plant code.
Well, then it's already expired. You can't.
Exactly.
Point.
Exactly.
Which I didn't get my Piranha Plant, so I have a grudge with this game right now. I did, and I didn't get my plant.
Well, you know what? Piranha Plant is not good.
Wow.
I know.
Shocker.
I haven't played as him, but I have a very
he's
strong
not good.
opinion, and I'm on the internet. So, what do you want?
Valid. All right. So there was, to wrap things up, there's a couple more announcements of release dates, announcement for Switch. Just going to run through these and we'll kind of give some highlights if anything you're interested in. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, dropping this summer. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night this summer.
Yes.
Dragon Quest Builders 2, July 12th. So another.
That's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. You're not getting Dragon Quest Builders 2.
No, of course not.
Dead by Daylight coming out in the fall. Deltarune, which is a expansion continuation of Undertale.
Yeah, it's like another chapter in the world, I think.
Yeah. Grid Autosport is dropping this summer. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice in the spring. Mortal Kombat 11, April 23rd. Unravel
That's
2,
a tough one.
March 22nd. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, May 21st. And Chocobo Mystery Dungeon. Everybody, not everybody, not like Backstreet, everybody. No, this is
right.
Buddy is like Buddy the Elf.
Like Muddy Buddies.
Yes.
A delicious treat.
And then they were kind enough to let us know that the developers of Bayonetta 3 are hard at work. That's it. So for me, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, super excited about this one because I love that series and it's a Nintendo exclusive, makes it even better.
Thank goodness they changed the art style. Ooh.
Yes.
Like it looks so much better.
Oh, it does. It does, totally. Dead by Daylight. If you're following in the Discord, I've played Dead by Daylight and I've played it on my PlayStation 4, I believe. Okay. And it looks good.
Yeah.
This did not look good at all. Instead of it being a remaster or a port, it looks like it was a demaster. Like that's how bad this looked to me.
I feel like they started developing it for mobile devices and then they were like, well, it can't run there, so let's just put it on the Switch now. I had to skip past this a little bit because my son was watching with me and I was like, no, I know what this game is. Get it off the screen.
Although they didn't show you anything. But if you go back and watch it, so I do watch it. You got some homework, Lucas. Go back and watch just this section. At the very end, the last scene I think they show before they give like the date, they show, the killer coming after the player that you are and he's running. Mm-hmm. The killer is moving across the map through some grass. Their legs are not moving. It looks like the chess pieces in Harry Potter where they just slide across.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, what? And I'm pretty sure like that was an oversight. Like that wasn't supposed to be shown like that, but that's how downscaled this game looks. It looks truly awful. And that's not me just being a hater. It looks awful. The first thing when I looked at it was, what is wrong with this? It looks like they turned off the shadows and the lighting engine. Yes.
And then removed all the textures. I don't know. It was messed up.
My next big gripe, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. So this game won so many awards for not only its graphics, it is a beautiful looking game, but the sound engineering, which plays a massive role in this game through how it tells the story to you, to how it affects your gameplay, to the things that are being said that actually guide you along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lucas, if you want to play Hellblade on your TV and your Nintendo Switch, you kind of can't plug headphones in.
Well, not unless you sit like 2 feet away from your TV.
No, it won't even work because while it's docked, the audio comes out the HDMI.
Oh, I did not know that.
So, yeah, you can play it portable, but some of the landscapes you need to see details and things because there's illusions and stuff that happen because your character spoilers is a little crazy. So I can't imagine looking for those details on my Switch control pad versus, like a 60-inch television. So I don't know. I could be wrong. This just seems like a bad move to me where, yes, if you've never played Hellblade, you should play Hellblade. But if you have any other option, whether it's on PC, Xbox, PS4, play it there before you play it on the Switch. I'm
playing it in VR. No, really, I am on PC.
I know.
And it's great. That's what you need to do. You know what? Don't buy it on the Switch. Go get yourself a VR unit and then play it. that way. It's very economical.
Absolutely. Makes way more sense. Mortal Kombat 11 I'm interested in because how is this running on the Switch? Like I want to see that.
I know, and this actually has me kind of split because I would just normally expect to get it on the PC, but then I saw it was coming out to Switch, which I wasn't even really expecting anyways. Sure, right. Now I have this weird thing where I'm like, well, there could be more people playing it on the Switch, but how is it going to look? Because from their promotional videos, it's amazing. It's like one step away from an actual rendered movie, it seems like. The effects are great. What's it going to look like on the Switch? And how's it going to play?
Yeah. So, I mean, certainly I'm not using Joy-Cons to play Mortal Kombat 11. That would be awful.
Oh, gosh, that would be horrible. But do you want what's his name from Scooby-Doo to be
Shaggy
in the roster? Yeah, no, Shaggy.
No, that is the dumbest thing I've seen on the internet. That's saying something. So yeah, a couple things of note that a lot of people were expecting that weren't shown at all. There was no Animal Crossing shown, which was surprising, I think, to not even show anything. I thought that would have been something. Metroid Prime Trilogy, like we know we're not getting Metroid Prime 4 anytime soon now with the whole retro taking it back, but a lot of people thought we'd see something as far as the trilogy because it's been leaked even through retailers, which may or may not be true. We know that happens too, but once again seems weird. And then lastly, the one rumor I saw flying around in announcements today that did not come true. Like Box Boy I saw rumored, and there's all these things I saw that actually happened. No Pikmin.
Yeah, I heard that being bandied around as well, and did not see that either.
Which my wife is very, very angry at me for Pikmin because I traded it in when I bought the Switch to help fund the Switch because Pikmin 4 is supposed to be coming soon, and it's been a long 3 years, Lucas.
It's no longer soon anymore.
At least she hits me where the bruises don't show, but yeah, every time there's a Nintendo Direct, I can't talk about it because she goes, "But did they show Pikmin?" No, they didn't.
So you're Pikmin-less right now, is what you're saying?
Yes.
No,
and I can't rebuy a Wii U because people are charging like $600 for it online now. It's just stupid.
It's because nobody thought it was good.
That's true.
Now they just want it.
Yep. Even though all the games are important anyway.
Some fools just buy one and it's been hacked or modded or whatever. So I hear.
I thought about that, but I'm also wondering how much that person spent on it.
Don't tell me because I don't want to know.
I don't know, but I'm afraid to even ask because it cannot be cheap. But anyway, that's enough Nintendo. We've spent almost all of that. But you do have a story as well, so please, sir, the floor is yours.
This caught my eye because, well, if you're familiar with the Mass Effect world at all, you know that a lot of people think that BioWare kind of dropped the ball on Andromeda. They worked so hard to fix that poor mess. I have yet to actually play it. Surprisingly, I have all three Mass Effects. I bought them twice, actually, once on 360 and again on the PC. Currently I just beat the first one. Love it, even though it's kind of a mess. But not as bad as Andromeda, because it is funny to go, having saw all the press of Andromeda and all of the facial animations and everything and all the glitches that were happening. None of that really was in Mass Effect. I mean, yeah, it's not the most beautiful game these days, but comparatively speaking, a much better launch. So they kind of stopped talking about Mass Effect after that came out. They put that on the back burner. But now we're being told that BioWare says we're definitely not done with Mass Effect.
Ooh.
They don't have any concrete games in development, so they say, but the series is, quote, very much alive. So to me, that means we're thinking about coming back to it. We haven't said no. So, let's see. Mike Dara, who's Anthem's executive producer, and the general manager, Casey Hudson, suggest that BioWare still has faith in the Mass Effect series after Andromeda underwhelmed fans in 2017. Quote, we're definitely not done with Mass Effect, says Dara. There's a lot of stories to be told. We could pull on the threads we put down with Andromeda. We could pull on the threads from Mass Effect 3. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder which one they're going to go with.
Yeah, right.
From a marketing perspective, there's one clear choice. There's a lot of interesting space to be explored. Space. So, of course, they do have a Dragon Age game coming down the pipeline. They're working on Anthem, so I wouldn't expect this anytime soon.
No.
But it is good news to hear, for me at least, that they are they're thinking about it. That makes me happy, because when I read that Andromeda kind of put the axe in this series, I was just like, well, it was fun while it lasted.
It was a good ride. Good game, guys.
Exactly. Even though, I mean, for as much as people hated Andromeda, I don't know. I think they may have hated the end of Mass Effect 3 even more. So
that's true.
They complained so much that they actually changed the ending.
Which is nuts. So you'll be excited until they announce that it's Mass Effect Battle Royale, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I was going to say, at least we're away from the every single player game has to have a multiplayer aspect to it. But now it's more like, let's build a multiplayer game with single player tacked onto it. So I'm a little worried. The only good thing is that their Mass Effect 3 single or multiplayer was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And Mass Effect always has a great story too, which is the highlight for me, I think, over the gameplay or anything with it. So I would think that even if they made a mediocre game but it had a good story, people would overlook it a little bit. It's like Fallout, except for Fallout 76. If you have a good story, people accept those glitches. Elder Scrolls, same thing. Like, you get those glitches, you know they're coming, but you accept it because of what the game does and what it tells you. And so I think Mass Effect certainly isn't done. But when you first brought this up, first thing popped in my head is, were they somehow going to weave it into Anthem?
There are rumors that they possibly exist in the same universe.
And just save it for DLC. Like, I mean, they said this is going to be a living game, so much like Destiny, where Anthem's going to evolve down the line. Can we see a, Mass Effect event?
What if it's revealed as Mass Effect : Anthem : Definitive Edition S.
The Anthem of Mass Effect.
That's right. They could. I mean, there's nothing that says they couldn't exist in the same world, at least.
It might make people have a better reception to it coming back too, where people forgive it because if Anthem comes out, it's really cool, and they're like, "Oh, Mass Effect's gonna be tied to this." You're like, "Oh, okay, I'll give it a shot." But
yeah, that's true. Well, if they put it on the back burner, they have so many things in the pipeline they have to finish first that there will actually be kids who have grown up not knowing what Mass Effect is.
Yeah, that's true too. They just let it go long enough, and they'll forget it. Just give us a remaster of all three. Call it a day.
Yeah, that's what I need to play them again and buy them again, please.
Please take my money, please. So I think we've gone on long enough, Lucas. What do you say?
Yeah, I feel like, I do have my timer set and it only says 3 minutes and 52 seconds remaining. So, and then I explode.
We don't want that, at least not on the air. So we'll wrap things up this evening, so everybody. So thank you so much for listening, tuning in as always. Hopefully telling a friend. We do appreciate that. As you know, we can only spread and grow with your support and your word of mouth there. So before we go, Lucas, where can people find you and your other little show you do?
Well, I do a little show called Fluxtaposed. You can find that at fluxtaposed.com. Come give us a listen. We are not exclusive show, an explicit show. So just keep that in mind. But we do have a lot of fun, and we have been described as a hangout podcast, so a little bit less poignant on the games talk, but we have a lot of fun there. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at heavymetal_riff, where I don't really talk much, but I check out what other people are doing. I kind of stalk. I'm always watching. I'll chime in with a little joke that doesn't really mean anything. But more than anything, I'm usually on the Discord. So if you're not in the PSVG Discord, then I don't know who you are. So maybe you should join up and we can talk and connect and talk about video games or movies.
So if they're not
the resident movie snob,
if you don't talk to them on the Discord, they don't exist for you.
Correct.
That makes Thanksgiving really awkward in your house, doesn't it?
What's Thanksgiving?
Yeah, see. And with that, everybody, we ask as always that you never stop gaming.
This has been a PSVG production. Any music, sound effects, or the like is owned by their respective copyright holders. No infringement is intended. The views expressed in this production are those of the individual contributor and may not necessarily reflect PSVG. This production may not be repurposed, reused, or redistributed without the express written consent of PSVG. PSVG is powered by patrons at patreon.com/PSVG. Become a patron to get special perks, including access to exclusive content.